Welcome to the 40th Annual Lincoln Arts Awards and the 50th anniversary of the Lincoln Arts Council. Are you all excited to be here tonight? My name is D. Wayne. I'm going to serve as your master of ceremonies tonight, and oh boy, it's going to be a party. We're going to go ahead and get this thing rocking. Please help me welcome tonight's honorary chair, Jack Saltzman.
Well, thank you, and I'm just here to welcome you to the Mayor's Arts Awards. And so I want you to have a good time and good crowd. So thanks for coming out.
Mayor Beitler and Judy, it's a pleasure to have you here this evening. The arts community is grateful for your faithful support. Thank you so much for your tireless efforts to encourage the arts in Lincoln. We're grateful for your enthusiastic partnership. Well, we are honored to recognize these dignitaries who are also in attendance tonight. Former Mayor Don Wesley, members of the City Council, John Camp, Benny Shoby, Cindy Lamb, Lyrian Gaylor Baird, Jane Raybold, and Carl Eskridge. And Carl is also a past Lincoln Arts Council Board President. Go Carl. Lincoln Board of Education members Don Mayhew and Barbara Beyer, also a current Lincoln Arts Council Board member. County Commissioners Bill Avery and Deb Shore. State Senators Patty Pansing Brooks and Anna Wishart. Executive Director of the Nebraska Commission on Indian Affairs, Judy Gyaskabosh. And Executive Director of the Nebraska Arts Council, Suzanne Wise. So, like I said before, my name is D. Wayne. I'm going to be serving as your master of ceremonies tonight, and this is huge. We get to celebrate a 40th anniversary and then a 50th anniversary as well. You know how they talk about over the hill? There is no hill when it comes to the arts. We only go in one direction, and that is up. Thank you all so much for coming tonight to celebrate and help continue the legacy of the arts here in Lincoln and, of course, across greater Nebraska. We are celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Lincoln Arts Council, which is We Are Golden Together. You can clap, that's okay. I always say, feel free to interrupt me if you like to clap. Clapping is good for you, helps burn calories. Now, I didn't expect that to come out of my mouth. To kick off the anniversary celebration, please welcome Deb Weber, Executive Director of the Lincoln Arts Council.
Thank you, D. Wayne. So I'm guessing there'll be a lot of things come out of our mouth tonight. I changed my mind about what I was going to say about, 3 or so hours ago. So I wanted to just welcome you, first of all, for being here. And on behalf of the Board of Directors and the staff of the Lincoln Arts Council, we are just so excited that we have 518 people here this evening, which is a record. And I know other people are going to talk about that too, but I think it's something worth mentioning a lot. I want to just ask a quick question. How many of you have ever thrown a birthday party for 518 people? Okay, Randy Hawthorne, I knew you would say yes to that. Okay, so I was thinking today, what does it take to successfully have a birthday party where 518 people are coming? And I have to say, first of all, we need an event planner. And Lori McAllister is just amazing. Lori has put together a great event for us, and I just want to publicly thank her. She is a dedicated and loyal staff member of the Arts Council, and I consider myself lucky to be able to work with her. Oh, another thing we need is decorations, right? And so tonight, the tables look beautiful. It's great to see all the colors, and thanks to Jack Salzman for doing that. Another thing, yes, thank you, please clap. Okay, what else do we need for a birthday party? Presents, okay? So I have to say that having you here is the most spectacular gift that we could ever dream of, because it really takes all of us working together to do the work that we want to accomplish. Another thing we need is music, right? Well, just wait. Wait till you hear what we have in store for you with the music. Then another thing I thought about was, noisemakers, right? So I went to Walmart today because it's near my house, and I got this noisemaker. Okay, team. Okay, did you notice that this noisemaker doesn't make noise? Evidently, noisemakers don't make noise anymore because there is not a squeaker in here. So I was disappointed, but I knew I could call on the team to help make the noise. The other thing that we need is a game. We need a party game, right? So here we go. We're going to play a game. I promise it's not going to be embarrassing. We don't have to do, athletic feats or anything like that. I'm going to call off a group of people, and I would like for you to stand. No applause, please. And everybody keeps standing. And eventually, I will get to the end of this game, and I will announce who the winner is. So, for instance, I'm going to start off with asking anyone who is a current and past LAC staff member, please stand. And so just stand up. Now, anybody who is a current and past LAC board member, join the group. Everybody stand up. LAC Arts Education Partners, if you'd stand. The staff or board member of a Lincoln Arts organization, if you would stand, please. Lincoln Arts Council Social Service Agency Partners, past, present, and future. Mayor's Arts Award recipients, current and past. Mayor's Arts Award sponsors who are attending. Artists, actors, poets, musicians, filmmakers. Elected officials. Lincoln Arts Festival patrons. Okay, guys, we're going to get there. Now, here's the final category. Anyone who has ever attended any of the 40 Mayor's Arts Awards events, please stand. Okay, so round of applause. So, this is a party game, so who is the winner? And I would like to say it's our community. Thank you. The Lincoln Arts Council has spent 50 years working to try and help champion the arts so that we can connect people together, because our dream is to empower everyone in the community, not just those of us who can afford to, but everyone from every walk of life, to try and empower them so that their life can be better through the arts. So thank you so much for being here tonight. Now I would like to introduce board member Tony Riley.
Thank you. First off, I'd like to say, whoever I gave my notes to tonight instead of the map to the tables, if you could bring those up, I'd appreciate them. Now, all kidding aside, thank you to the mayor and the mayor's office. I know the thank yous have been put out there, but I'd be remiss if I didn't have an opportunity to say that. Thank you to the committee that put together this wonderful night. Thank you to the people, our guests that have shown up tonight. Thank you to the recipients. It's incredible what they've done. I think it's awesome that they've had an opportunity tonight to receive their awards. I also want to say thank you to Deb and Lori and Troy in the office. They do a lot of work. Appreciate everything they do, and thank you to our board members. You know, I've had an opportunity, a rare opportunity, to join the board. I was inspired by the arts by my daughter, Anna, who about 5 years ago wanted to go into a play, get into a play. I come from a sports family. All I know is sports. Of course, that's what I taught her. She was my oldest. And she wanted to go out and have an opportunity to be involved in the arts, and I had no idea what to do. Anyway, she had an opportunity to go to the Youth Academy, or Youth Actors Academy of Lincoln, have an opportunity to try out for a play because she saw her cousin try out. Very timid, lacked confidence, and she had the opportunity to sit amongst all these incredible actors, and I thought she was just going to fold up and leave. I was the only parent to stick around. All the other parents dropped their kids off. My daughter came up at lunch, and I said, here we go, we're leaving. Instead, she said, Dad, you forgot to bring me lunch. Can you go get me Raising Cane's? Well, the story was great. She wound up getting a great part in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and it changed her life. For me, that showed me the power of the arts, something I hadn't experienced myself. It gave me a passion, showed me the inspiration that the arts could have. I met Deb and Lori through my business at Artifact Screen Printing and Embroidery, where I'm the marketing director. And I had a chance to meet them and told them my story, and Deb liked it and got inspired by it. She asked me to be on the board, which I was completely surprised. And I appreciate everything and the opportunity that she gave me to be up here to talk to you tonight, because I'd love to bridge the gap between those folks that go to other fundraisers that are on the sports side of this world and bring them into this community, and let's make this go all the way back to those seats next year. What do you say? So one of the things I got involved in when I was here at the Arts Council, and I had an opportunity as a board member to get involved in, was a rebranding. Some things that you'll see tonight. It's very exciting for the Lincoln Arts Council. I had a chance to be involved with them about rebranding, remessaging, and getting the message out about what the council does, and it's very exciting to be involved with that. One of the first steps that we did was to bring on an incredible company in Firespring to have the opportunity to come in and talk to us about what it was, of who we were, where we were going, and where we wanted to be. They did a great job. The team was incredible. And CK, Kelly, and Josh, Sarah, and everybody else, Jeff, at Firespring, we thank you for all the efforts that you gave. And I think tonight you're going to be inspired by what has been done, the changes that we've made, and the direction that we're going in. So thank you all for coming tonight. With that, I'd like to introduce Kelly Medwick from Firespring, and thank you.
Thank you, Tony. This is really exciting for us. We've had the opportunity to work as a company with the Lincoln Arts Council since starting around 2001, when we started working on their website, and then also helping the Arts Council spread the word through their print communications. So when we had the opportunity to elevate that relationship and envision a new future and bigger, better outreach for the Lincoln Arts Council, we were just so excited to do that. I have the honor tonight of introducing just the very first little piece of that new identity that I believe will help the Lincoln Arts Council attract more amazing board members like Tony, who didn't even come from a background where the arts were part of his life, and engage him, engage others, and bring them all to enjoy all that the arts community has to offer here in Lincoln. So with that, we'll see if the tech can sync up with us, but we're going to just give you a little taste of what the Lincoln Arts Council's new look will be from this night forward. that, I want to introduce my colleague, Christopher Kingsley, who leads the charge at FireSpring for all of our creative services and our strategy. And he and his team, working with Deb and the board and staff, are who came together to create that new look. Thank you.
Hey, all the powerful people in Lincoln, what's up? First of all, you'd think they could throw down some money for a stylish venue, right? You know, think they could class it up a little bit. Had to deal with Pinnacle Bank Arena, but whatever. I really wanted to take a moment and just kind of think about 1968, right? 1968, I was not alive then, so I have to proxy my knowledge of what happened there via history texts and my parents' endless stories about things. And one of the big things that I hear about that time was that the country was really divided, that a lot of things were happening, a lot of social transformation was happening. The United States was kind of putting its stamp on how people should treat each other, how we should be as a culture, how we should be with the world. 50 years later, kind of feels like we're in one of the most divided times I've ever seen in my short life. See family discussions falling apart, depends on which kind of news you watch. See friendships being stressed, people firing off comments on social media. And it kind of seems like some of the tenets that we've held to for a long time are under attack. Feels like truth itself is under attack. Regardless of where you fit on that spectrum, I think we all feel that there's one thing that brings it all home, makes all of that sound like noise, reminds us that there's something way more important about us, about our relationships with each other, about what community means. And I think everybody in this room is the type of person that sees the arts as that glue. I'm happy you feel that way. If there was silence there, we'd have some issues, right? That in general, everybody here looks past all of our petty opinions, looks past all the things that we think about, and are stopped dead in our tracks when we see a piece of art or experience an arts performance that really speaks to us, really gives us context for why we go to work every day, why we do the things we're doing, why we try to make the impacts we make. And I know we've thrown out a lot of thank yous, but the rest of the team that built this identity, along with Lincoln Arts Council and their team members, are here tonight, and I wanted to thank them. But I know that they would all want me to thank Deb specifically. The amount of work that Deb and Troy and Lori, but specifically we get a lot of proximity to Deb, do on behalf of fighting like a knight for all of the arts in this town is worth celebrating time and time again. So I just wanted to thank you, Deb, for what you do. Really appreciate that. And we've gotten the opportunity to spend some time with Tony, spend some time with other stakeholders there, and they just have the best attitude about what they're doing. They're such selfless leaders, and it's been really an incredible opportunity and a privilege to do the things that we got to do for Lincoln Arts. And so what I really think about is how in this time of stress and in this time of all these things that we in this room are actually really lucky. I feel really lucky to have grown up in this town. I lived a lot of other places, lived in some other countries, some other cities that think they're really cool. And every time I see one of them expressing their arrogance in the ways that many of them do, I quietly think about how lucky I am, how lucky Lincolnites are, how lucky our families are, how lucky everybody that goes to school here that gets to experience this community is, because we are insulated by our disposition towards each other, community, and supporting the arts. And everybody in this room is that. So I thank you. I thank you for that. So, it's a lot of heavy stuff, I know, and I'm not trying to put too much of a dampener, but it just makes me feel so blessed to be amongst people that made my life so nice, even though I don't know many of you. Just thinking about growing up here, I've been touched by your support of the arts, and I thank you for that. And so just to continue the heaviness, one of the things that we did with the Arts Council is we created a manifesto that we believe defines very accurately what the council's all about. And if you will indulge me, I'm going to read the manifesto in public for the first time. So, all right. If the world is an empty canvas, it's our collective responsibility to fill it with big ideas, unique styles, and the most essential parts of our souls to make it a canvas worth celebrating and sharing. Lincoln Arts Council is an artistic conduit, intent on empowering curious and creative minds by immersing each person into the arts. Lincoln Arts connects artists, enthusiasts, novices, and under-resourced youth with the arts and new art experiences because art is a human right for all. We use the arts to bring our community together and connect to a beautiful, universal language that makes you stop in your tracks and look at life differently. Art doesn't just impact our community, it has the power to impact the world and unite us all. Lincoln Arts believes art belongs everywhere, and you belong here with us to make the world a better and more interesting place than we found it. Lincoln Arts Council. Thank you, everybody.
Was that a kickoff to 50th or what? Can we give a huge thank you to Firespring, please? So tonight, we celebrate the artistic accomplishments of some of Lincoln's finest artists, as well as recognizing those who help the arts thrive through volunteering, promoting, educating, and underwriting. You are arts champions all, and you're about to see how connecting people through the arts changes lives. You are the reason that we are golden together. Please help me welcome Lincoln Arts Council Board President Tom Massey.
Thanks, D. Wayne. D. Wayne is also serving on our board, which is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of fun. Okay, so I have two jobs. One is to introduce or have the board members of the Lincoln Arts Council stand up, which they probably don't want to do, but we're going to have them do it. So I'm going to read the names. So hold your applause both during the introductions, and if you feel like it, you can even hold them after the introductions. So here we go. All right, Michelle Jackson, John Badami, Lynn Sunderman, Christine Wilcox, Christy, Barbier, Ellen Beans, there you are, Mark Canny, hello Mark, Bobby Clinch, Diane Gonzalez, Abby Luttrell. By the way, thank you so much, Abby, for all your work on this tonight, you and Diane. Carl Manello, who just came to town with Emeritus. Welcome to our community, Carl, wherever you are. There you are. Hi, Carl. David Pauly. Cleve Reeves, you're 6'5", you should be easy to spot. Oh, there you are, in the back, thank you. Tony Reiling. Len Sloop. And there are two new board members we want to introduce. One of them, D. Wayne, and the other is Amanda Barone. Where are you? There she is. You're not the height of Cleve Reeves. Thank you. Okay, so that was my first job. Second job is to introduce the mayor, and here's what I would do with that. So in the last year, it's going to be okay, Mayor. In the last year, the Lincoln Arts Council spent the time, money, resources to do a study wherein we determine what the economic impact of the arts is. So we talk a lot about mission statements and how it affects children and the work that we do in schools, but the economic impact is a big deal. And after we did that report, it was, I believe, $98 million, $99 million is the annual impact to the city of Lincoln for the arts. And which is a great number. I don't know why they couldn't push it to 100, but I respect their honesty. So Lincoln is heavily impacted by the arts, and I bring this up because the last 8 to 10 years have been a time of great economic growth for Lincoln. We've seen this area explode, and we've seen the downtown grow all around the periphery. It's been an amazing last 8 to 10 years. So I'm introducing the mayor, and there are two theories. One is that he was very lucky to preside over that period. But probably the more learned theory is that he has been so helpful to us in the arts community, supporting the arts in Lincoln, and that he was one of the many people in this crowd that decided that businesses, the various nonprofits in the city would work together to develop this city to be what we all want it to be. And the arts is a big piece of that. So it wasn't purely luck, Mr. Mayor. And we appreciate all of your work for us. So thank you very much.
Hello. I hope you all are doing as well as Judy and I are tonight. We love this celebration, and we love it in this venue. It's really been nice. Thank you for the kind introduction. I don't know if it's luck or it has something to do with cooperation and attention to detail, but whatever it is, I'll take it. And I've had a lot of partners. Tonight, for example, I called the Chamber of Commerce, and they're taking care of the weather, so if any of you are worried about that, don't be worried, okay? In any event, I want to be very short so we can get on to some very special videos and some very special people, the kind of people who make Lincoln a great place to live. And in getting there, though, some of the comments today reminded me of things in my past life. And the talk about sports, the talk about the powerful effect of the arts, reminded me about a trip that Judy and I took to Atlanta, Georgia, to the Olympics one year. A very long time ago. I'm not sure what year it was. But we had tickets to soccer games, we had tickets to baseball games, we had all of the sporting events before us, and it was a banquet of sporting events. And as we were going to one, we turned a corner into a plaza, and there in front of us, in its scale and in all of the most beautiful white marble you ever saw, was a man and a woman in stone who had come from Italy for the occasion of the Olympics, the kiss. How many of you are familiar with that sculpture? It is so incredibly beautiful. I actually broke down in tears. And the biggest event of that trip to Atlanta was being able to see up close and personal this one statue that I had read about all my life. It was incredibly beautiful. The power of art is quite remarkable. So in any event, this I think is the 40th year of the history of the Mayor's Arts Awards. That's a pretty long time, and for those of us who think politically, that's the space of 8 mayors who have presided over this event. Don Wesley, who's here tonight. The celebration was started during the administration of the late Helen Busalis. Don and the other mayors since then, Roland Lutke, Bill Harris, Mike Johans, Dale Young, Colleen Sang, they have all done a great job of supporting this tradition and of supporting and building the arts generally. So this now is the 12th consecutive year that Judy and I have had the privilege of being a part of this, and we love it every year. The theme of our celebration, of course, is We Are Golden Together, as you just heard, and that theme is appropriate in other ways. In the last few years, I've been calling this the golden age in the history of our community, and the fact is that our city has achieved great success by working together. We have worked to bring all segments of the community to the table, to build a vision for Lincoln. A great many of the elected officials, in fact, all of the elected officials who were named tonight have been a part of that feeling and of that endeavor. And altogether, we've been able to build a very strong vision for Lincoln. And I think you can tell by the number of public officials who are here today that the arts have been extremely important to us all in moving the city forward. The community consensus to move forward on this new arena is probably the most visible symbol, the largest example of how the arts are shaping our community. But you will hear stories tonight of 16 award winners who have been working every day to strengthen the arts in Lincoln in their own ways. I know you will be inspired by their achievements, and I look forward to congratulating all of the winners in just a few minutes here. So it's been another great successful year for the Arts Council. I want to congratulate the Arts Council on the new logo, on the new branding. It all looks very exciting. I also want to thank Deb and the staff and the board and the volunteers again for all that they do to keep the arts front and center in our capital city. So best wishes to you all for another great 50 years. Thank all of you for being here tonight. And let's get on with the show. Thank you.
Another round of applause, please, for Mayor Beitler. Now, we're going to take a few moments to remember our friends in the arts and humanities community who have died since we gathered at this event last year.
Catherine Engel was on the board of Lincoln City Libraries and the Nebraska Art Association. She was the first woman elected to the Lincoln Board of Education. She and her late husband John received a Mayor's Arts Award in 1999. Charles Bowling II played many different instruments and taught music, voice, and the history of music for Lincoln Public Schools. He performed at the Lincoln Community Playhouse and directed the choir at Lincoln City Church. The Reverend Don Coleman hosted the Old Time Gospel Show on KFOR Radio for 14 years. Ron Colin was a supporter of the Lincoln Midwest Ballet Company. He was a board member emeritus of the organization and performed for many years with the cast of The Nutcracker. Patsy Davidson and her late husband Sam were major supporters of the Lincoln Community Playhouse, where they were frequent performers. For many years, Patsy sponsored the Mayor's Arts Award for Theater, which was named in Sam's honor. Barbara Day was known as a great storyteller and served as treasurer of Lincoln Symphony Orchestra. Lana Flagtwet was a former board member of the Nebraska Foundation for the Humanities, serving as treasurer and as chair of the Governor's Lecture Committee. Vincent Goers served as president and treasurer of the Lincoln Community Playhouse Board. He and his wife led several London trips to benefit the Playhouse. He was also a longtime volunteer at the State Historical Society and wrote a book on aviation history. Thomas Gorham volunteered for Nebraska Public Television and served on the boards of Lincoln Symphony Orchestra and the Lincoln Community Playhouse. Dr. Bill Griffin was a devoted supporter of the arts, serving as president of Lincoln Symphony Orchestra and as a board member of the Omaha Symphony. He was also a commissioner of Nebraska Educational Television. He won a Mayor's Arts Award in the year 2000. Laura Hurlbut was a docent at the Sheldon Art Gallery. Richard Jensen was a senior research anthropologist for the State Historical Society and published many articles, manuscripts, and books. Riley Kubik was a member of the Nebraska Wesleyan Symphonic Band and a former member of the Lincoln East Marching and Symphonic Bands. Barbara Matley taught art for Lincoln Public Schools, Southeast Community College, and at her home studio. Levon Pickle was a life member of the Lincoln Community Playhouse Guild. Arts patron and art collector Kai Roman received both the Governor's and Mayor's Arts Awards. He was honored by the Sheldon Art Museum and the Museum of Nebraska Art and served on the boards of both organizations. He was a strong supporter of Opera Omaha and the UNL Opera program and served as chairman of the Nebraska District of the Metropolitan Opera National Council auditions. Realtor and business owner Lynn Rustad was a member of Lincoln's Symphony Orchestra Guild. Mike Seacrest was president of the Nebraska Art Association and played a big role in the construction of the Sheldon Museum of Art. She received a Mayor's Arts Award in 2008. She hosted shows on KOLN KGIN TV and on Nebraska Public Television and helped lead celebration balls for the centennials of Lincoln and Nebraska. Phyllis Spahn owned fringe and tassel costumes for over 30 years. She was in the Chancel Choir and Bell Choir at Christ United Methodist and was active on and off stage for many years at the Lincoln Community Playhouse. The Reverend Charles Stephen Jr. hosted the radio show All About Books on NET Radio and reviewed books for the Lincoln Journal-Star for decades. He was presented with the Mayor's Arts Award for Literary Heritage in 2010. Janice Strange hosted a children's show for KOLN KGIN in the early 1960s. She performed in several Gilbert and Sullivan musicals at the Lincoln Community Playhouse and sang in several local choirs. Judge Samuel Van Pelt served on the board of the State Historical Society Foundation and facilitated oral histories of hundreds of people. He also wrote one book and co-authored another. Michael Veek was an instrumental music teacher for 38 years and an organist at 3 Lincoln churches. He was the executive director of the Nebraska Music Educators Association and a member of that group's Hall of Fame. Veek was a charter member of the UNL Band Alumni Association and was the voice of the Cornhusker Marching Band for 30 seasons.
Though they are no longer with us, their work and their inspiration live on in this room in celebration of 50 years and well beyond the next 50 years. Please, another round of applause for our family. As you may know, each year, the Arts Council commissions a piece of art to be the award that is presented to the winners. For this milestone year, a group of artists collaborated on a very special piece. Ted Kuzer, our own U.S. Poet Laureate, donated an unpublished poem which was set and printed by Denise Brady of Gibraltar Press and framed by David Clark. Here to read that poem for you tonight is the voice of Nebraska, NET radio personality, Laura Black.
A Shadow by Ted Kuzer. Dust whispered to the shadow under the bridge and told it whose team and wagon were crossing and how it could know whose it was by the clop of the hooves. Each team had its own rhythm, and by the distinctive tock-tick of the wheels as they knocked over the planks. The shadow made notes on the long scroll of the water using the tip of a willow branch, But the notes disappeared under its eyes as if written in vanishing ink. Counting the farm wagons that crossed just one old one-lane bridge in one little township could prove to be boring. But if you'd been born to a long line of shadows, bridge after bridge after bridge, all the way out to the hazy horizon, counting the wagons and horses was what was expected of you. And while the men and their teams were all day in the sun, riding those clattering wagons empty out onto the fields, then back, loaded with hay, the wheels sound by then always different, hammering down through the timbers. The work of the shadow took place in shade and was mostly just counting and listening, cooling its feet in the water that trickled down out of time, cutting a shadowy track like a cowpath, carrying clouds and sometimes a few homely pigeons with news from afar.
Thank you, Laura, and thank you, Ted Kuzer. In the audience, Ted, would you please stand up? Such a beautiful poem, and so appropriate for this very special occasion, celebrating 50 years of the arts. Now, are you all ready to get an award show started? Somebody's like, let me ask that again. Are you all ready to get this award show started? Okay. Now, this is going to be a party. If you are looking at who's going when, the program is directly in front of you, unless you're using it as a napkin, which I don't recommend. Program in front of you, you can follow along there, but we are going to get this thing started. It is time for the 2018 Mayor Arts Awards winners.
I wanted a place where people could see not just the finished works, but the work in process, how the creative process works. People could talk to the artist about what they do. When it came in, it was not only a unique idea to this area, but also a very unique idea nationally. Within the first couple of years, when I did this, I had calls from all over the country saying, how did you do this? It's because people really are interested in the creative process. And I was determined that was not going to happen to me or the group of artists that I was responsible for. So we're not only still down there, but still, I think, vitalize that area, make that area exciting. And I think that's one of the reasons that the Haymarket has been so successful. I can just feel the energy down there. I couldn't even count the number of people who come up to me all the time and say, what you did was a wonderful thing. And that, you can't believe how much it's added to the community of Lincoln. I didn't do this stuff by myself. I mean, there are so many people to thank, and actually I can pretend like I'm sitting there that night and I'm saying, Thank you all for coming. Thank you for your support of the arts. And thank you for your support of me and the Burkholder Project. When some of those artists get together and collaborate on a unit, it becomes not just a two-person project, but it becomes much bigger than those two people or those three people. And so things like that are always kind of magic. I can also remember that it was pretty special when I was able to burn my mortgage.
I call myself a doll artist. I know that there are a lot of people in my field that are reluctant to call their work dolls because of the different connotations of that word. People don't think of dolls as an art object in general. So that's one of the reasons why I'm really happy to be receiving this award here from my hometown, because most of the time, doll artists don't get put in the category that other more generally known media like painting and sculpture achieve in the art world. I don't have any problem with calling them dolls because to me, dolls are important on the hierarchy of objects. I think they're super important because of their long history in humankind. I mean, people have always made images of figures. I feel like that's part of their power, is that they are a human form, and we automatically read deeper, more profound things into that. One of the things that I'm kind of known for is the unusual juxtaposition of patterns and colors. And then from there, the doll, the hair color, the eye color, the skin color, the personality kind of grows out of that particular set of materials. I think it's really broadened my perspective, and it just taught me a lot about, you know, the similarities between cultures and what we do have in common, and I think that's super important now more than ever.
Started out with just me and 3 of my friends, and we started it back when we were sophomores at Lincoln High. We wanted to do every part of a play, so like including directing and the set design and all these things that basically people around town and in the high schools wouldn't necessarily let a bunch of 15-year-olds do. We rented the Haymarket Theater, and we took winter break of my sophomore year, 10 days, and we rehearsed 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and we went up in 2 weeks, and we packed the house both nights that we performed, and we thought it was received really well. And then at that point we were like, well, okay, I guess we have a theater company now. The thing that I love about directing is this ability to sort of not necessarily be the one coming up with the amazing ideas that make the play work, but to be the one who facilitates everyone else in the room, to make them feel comfortable and in the right state of mind, that you can really get this flow of creativity that eventually leads to a good product. When the first jokes started to hit, and the audience would start laughing and laughing. And then eventually, after the end of Act One, the applause. I'd say that moment where this sort of roar comes up from the audience, I think a weight lifted off all of our shoulders. That moment of just where everything seemed to work out and we didn't really have to worry about it anymore, that was really nice.
When you're in love and you are wondering if he really is the one.
Viscerally, it's more exciting to be on the stage in front of an audience. You perform the song once and then you move on to the next thing and you get feedback, you know, and you're all interacting in the same room. So I would probably pick that first, but the studio is this opportunity to be at your very best. You get to do something again and again. If I sing a pitch that's off, we can seamlessly repair that and no one ever knew that it wasn't absolutely perfect, like Barbra Streisand or something.
Till the end of time, your true love you.
I love what I do, and it's fun to share that with other people. I love the opportunity of showing other people how easy it is. If you trust yourself and let your personality come through, I just enjoyed interacting with adults and showing them they can still do it. It's a way to keep your brain going.
You're bewitched and deep in love's long.
When we're writing or arranging, creating new works, we basically have, you know, the melody and the roots of the harmony together in one place. So we have a band ready to go. You know, it's really, really nice. And he's also become a fantastic writer. In fact, the most recent album is all originals that he wrote expressly for me. When does that happen?
Sleep on beat, don't waken, can't believe.
What's going on? And our host comes up to us, he says, "No, this is beautiful. They are chanting to you that they love you. They know that you are not Muslims, you are not believers. But they open their hearts to you and they're saying, they're wishing that Allah opens his hearts to the sky and embrace you as their own." And then it was like they're telling you, we absolutely love you and embrace you and accept you. And so we were like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. So that was a pretty amazing moment.
I walk with my feet off the ground.
Will our awards winners please come on forward? And yes, give them another round of applause. Accepting the Outstanding Arts Organization Award for the Burkholder Project is visionary and founder Ann Burkholder. The 2018 Visual Artistic Achievement Award winner, Shelley Thornton, maker of extraordinary fabric dolls. Mackenzie Davenport, Theater Impresario, receiving the Youth Artistic Achievement Award tonight. I like the enthusiasm. That's okay. It's an award show. That's what it's for. Everyone's favorite torch singer, Jackie Allen, receiving the Performing Artistic Achievement Award. And friends, as a treat, Jackie will be performing for us tonight.
Well, I'm touched that I've been asked to perform. First of all, I was a little concerned that you might out-bling me tonight after being asked to wear gold. And there's some pretty amazing golden outfits out there, some gorgeous bling. I would like to sing a song written by my husband, Mr. Hans Sturm, and I thank him because he's the first reason that I came to Lincoln. He took over the bass position at UNL, so it's great to have music in the family. First few rays above the sub-moon, the scent of hyacinth in full bloom, the taste of sweet and bitter fruit, the distant faint seductive flute. Let each moment touch your senses. A song to lift you when you're princes. Ooh. The first few rays of summer sunrise, laugh that comes after the tears dry, the touch of silk upon your skin, the joy that only love can bring, memories of sound embrace you gently. You become my song around. Whoa, yeah. Mr. Tom Larson. Arts Award winner, Tom Larson. Oh, yeah. La la la, oh, little star, la la la. Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Ooh, yeah, yeah. Ooh, da 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 da. Ooh, oh, oh. Pero la la la, boo boo, ba ba ba. The first few rays of summer sunrise, the laugh that comes after the tears dry, the touch of silk upon your skin, the joy that only love can bring. Memories of sound embrace you gently, and you become my song around me. You all become my song. La 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 la. You become my song. You become my song. Burkholder Project. You become my song. Shelley Thornton, Mackenzie Davenport, you become my song. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Elkent, oh my God, JF International Music Academy, you become my song. Julia Noyes, Lincoln Children's Museum, Peggy Gomez, Arlene Brinster, you become my song. You become my song. Donald Campbell, Nebraska by heart, Francisco Suto, you become my song. Ivan Young, Hannah DeMena, Centennial Mall, Improvements. Jackie Allen, you all become my song. Dave Hall, he becomes Hans Sturm, he becomes my song. Tom Larson, he becomes all of Lincoln. You all become my song.
Keep that love going. Thank you, Jackie Allen, Hans Sturm, Tom Larson, and Dave Hall. Please show them some love. Amazing.
One of the things that's great about what I get to do is I get to experience so much stuff, and a lot of it is pretty high quality, whether it's local people or whether it's these national, international artists. And you have these really nice experiences with and somebody pays me to do it, you know? Like I say, I don't know, what would I do if I had to get a real job, you know? On a local artist, I don't see, whether it's music or visual art or film or whatever, I don't see the point of beating up some local person in the paper if I don't like it, right? I don't see what good that does for anybody. And secondly, you want to write about things that you think are worthy of note, right? And when you got 4 art reviews in a month, then you better write about 4 good things rather than tear apart 2 or 3 bad ones just to show that you can do it. When you write some kind of criticism, some kind of opinion stuff, you are almost by definition advocating some kind of a position. But overall, yeah, I would hope that I kind of am happy that maybe people see me that way, because I really do believe that, the arts are really important and vital, and people don't realize they're engaged with the arts a lot of times when they are, and maybe they need to be more overtly aware of that, and maybe some of that I can bring to that. I went to see Jerry Lee Lewis at a little place outside of Grand Island years ago and was talking to him before, and then he said, "You sit right here," and he made me sit on the floor next to the piano. So I'm sitting, 5 feet away from Jerry Lee when he's just going crazy, right? So you're never going to forget something like that either.
I like all my students attend for recital, no matter they are a beginner or advanced. They always can learn something when they watch other people perform, and also it really a great way to push students to practice. I like performing, because I'm a performing major, but I also passionate about teaching. So I have always been want to, have my own music academy, just simply to help the student make them enjoy the music and also guide them in their own music path. And so, and also I want to be the first one in Lincoln to combining Eastern music culture and Western music culture together, and just give the community and of course the student a bigger view or grander view of the music world. I always want to be the bridge to connect Eastern and Western music culture together. So let the Asian kids or Asian people to know more about Western music or culture, and I want the people in here know a lot about Asians' music culture, and I think that's very important to know each other. After a lesson or after a recital, your student come to you and their parents come to you, and they really appreciate your work, and then they tell you oh, I love music more and more, I know more and more, and I think all the teachers will appreciate that kind of really appreciate word come from others, positive feedback.
25 years, the Haymarket had their gallery, and I've had the gallery another 25 years, so it's almost 50 years, the oldest art destination in town. And from day one, I knew I wanted to have lots of different artists, you know, from beginners to well-seasoned artists, because people had always helped me out. You know, everybody is a beginner at some point. I was a beginner, and I think all the people who helped me in many ways, you know, financially, the encouragement, just all those things. And to have a space where you can show and learn, it's pretty amazing. So this would be an example. So it has collaging and mixed media, acrylic, you know, just a big variety of things. I like to experiment. My things are about color, design, and texture. And we're excited because we'll have about 60 artists this year at least. We'll have maybe 15 musicians. We have dancers. We've already been working on it. We work on that event a whole year ahead. And this year will be our 6th year. And the Sunken Gardens, it's the jewel of the city. So we're very thankful and privileged to be able to use that. Every child, including preschoolers, get to help paint. It's a pretty wonderful experience. I was teaching a college class a couple years ago, and one of the students came in and he said, "Oh, I know you." And I said, "You know what, you look familiar to me too." He said, "Oh yeah, you came to our school when I was in 3rd grade and we did a mural project." So it's over many years that I've done all these projects. But it does have a lasting impression. And that mural is in the school forever. And the students can say, "Yeah, I did this part." Being recognized for my community support, the things I've done myself as an individual, as an artist, helping others, you know, it's really wonderful to be recognized.
The arts are everywhere in the museum, from the way it's decorated with bright colors and things that really invite the kids in, to throughout all of our exhibits. We try to have that piece play a role. And then of course we have our artist studio, where I can tell you the most amazing masterpieces are made every day. Our Smock Tales, it's built around a story time, and then we tie an art activity that connects with the book that they're reading. We have our Art Attack, which is kind of that messy, crazy art. So a chance to really get in there. It might be pendulum art or splash painting or something like that. Then we also have our famous artist program, and when we show them pictures of, you know, this is what a Picasso painting looks like, and they go, "Well, I can do that," you know, and it encourages them to learn some different methods of art and then try it out themselves. So, and plus they're getting some history. No matter who the child is, they always can get involved in the arts, and they want to. They want to believe in themselves. They have that passion that I think adults start to fear and hold us back. We're not gonna dance, we're not gonna put ourselves out on that stage. But kids are so open, and they really feel like that they shine in all they do. So we make sure that that's a big part of the museum. When a child can get mom up on the stage with them, or grandpa, or get them to sit down in the face painting station and, you know, has made grandma a tiger and she's walking around downtown for the rest of the day looking like that. Those are kind of my favorite moments, because it's a chance when the kids can really get their adults in their life to be playful, to be fun. Sometimes it's more about seeing that light in that adult's eyes than it even is about seeing it in that kid's eyes.
Winners, don't be shy, come on down. Yes, a round of applause for all of our winners. I always say if at this point you're still doing golf claps, you're doing it wrong. Congratulations. Lincoln's Venerable Arts and Entertainment writer, L. Kent Walgamon. Accepting the Gladys Lux Education Award for the JF International Music Academy as founder and instructor, Dr. Fei Fei Shang. Dr. Shang will be performing during the winner's reception with some of her students. Celebrating 25 years of the Noyes Art Gallery, it's Julia Noyes, winner of this year's Legacy of the Arts Award. Accepting the Lincoln Community Foundation Art for Kids Award is Tara Newth, Executive Director of the Lincoln Children's Museum. Another round of applause for all of our winners, please.
We always show exciting work. We show a lot of grad students. We show just a lot of people from Lincoln, but we're not opposed to showing any work from anywhere as long as it's good work. We have no problem showing emerging artists. We love to do a 7-person show of like young people where you might only need 3 great pieces to put in the gallery. It's just a way to give back to the community for sure, but it's also a way to show work that maybe wouldn't have a place to show anyplace else. You know, Tugboat is awesome, and I wish there were a dozen more galleries like Tugboat in Lincoln for people to go to. You can bike, you can walk, you can drive, we don't judge, and we get artists to sign up for it, and they open up their studios for about 4 or 5 hours on a Saturday typically. It's a way for people to get inside and see how a person works in their studio, and then hopefully it's an opportunity for the artists to sell their work too. Still so much excitement about the gallery. There's still lots of people coming in, new faces every first Friday. You know, if it were sort of slagging off and people weren't coming and we couldn't find any work, I might think, maybe we should let this go, but it's not like that. So I need to figure out how to keep it going. I couldn't have imagined all the doors that it would open for me personally, and also as my business grew and became more successful, the opportunities I would have to give back to the community. You know, when I got my undergrad and my graduate degree, I had no idea that I would end up being a retailer. You couldn't, yeah, I would have never thought that in a million years. But I love it. I just love it so much.
When I started working in the arts, it just felt like home because it's such a vibrant sort of environment. People are so expressive and it's kind of a group thing. I just have always liked working in that atmosphere as opposed to some other kind of job. You know? I loved all the people I worked with at the Lead Center and all of our customers and all the donors. It was just great friendships you developed. And I like to work independently, but I'm much better as a team. I wanted to make sure the customers were happy when they came to the window, when they got their tickets, when they went to the show and after the show. So they would come back and we create kind of a relationship with them. It's fun to see them grow and develop and mature. And they also, every year it's different. Every new mix of students is different, so it just brings a new kind of vibe in the ticket office. It's really fun. I think the arts are really a basic part of every culture. I think it's a way that people communicate history, tell stories, relate emotions, communicate with other people who are different than them. I especially am passionate about the live performing arts. When it's live, you're really connected. It really makes people think and go home inspired. Nothing like it. Those kids walk in the Lead Center and their eyes are big as saucers, and they sit in the audience and they are so excited and so into the show, and I just walk out thinking, this is why we do what we do. When I see those kids just connecting with the artists like that is just so fantastic.
I was born and raised in Lincoln, and then went to school at Doane University and the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. After that, I left to pursue careers. The family relationship goes back a long way in Lincoln. My great-grandfather was a founder of Miller and Payne. Because you have in the Capitol, you have that wonderful statue of Abraham Lincoln, and behind it the Gettysburg Address. And so that was really an inspiration for what we've ended up with there, because it's about the same size and you have also the wording behind it. What Ben captured was the man's dignity and his strength. And the whole story of Standing Bear in the trial, you know, having a general who arrested him and who really didn't want to do it, but that's where his orders, a judge who was willing to make an unprecedented ruling, a newspaper editor who took up the cause. I mean, it's a wonderful story for Nebraska and as well as for Standing Bear. That's why I think it makes it such a great Nebraska story. We're amazed at how many people showed up for that. I don't know, 400 or 500 people, and a lot of them Native Americans, and the emotions and just seeing everybody and their reaction to it was what was, I think, so special, because I had seen it, of course, before. It wasn't just the unveiling for me, it was at the unveiling, then watching people and seeing their reaction to it. It's very hard for me to not tear up at that, but that little girl's grave is still there. It is covered with flowers and toys and decorations. 140 years they have been honoring that grave. So, you know, it's It's a story of great hardship and unfairness. The tribe was moved out of there. But along the way, look at this, what a great expression of kindness and love.
Everything about this project was Nebraska. We didn't have to go outside the state for the manufacture, the creativity, our very generous sponsors, and then, so I just think it was a magical, meant-to-be project for Nebraska. To have the base in the shape of Nebraska, that built in so much more meaning to this project for Nebraskans and for everybody that came, thousands that came to experience our 89 Hearts.
What we do is we empower young people. We help them find their passion and then develop their skills and help them get access to the educational opportunities they need to be successful. In our organization, one of the most important things we do is build networks for young people. And we accelerate talent, we help people develop, and so it was a good fit with our mission. I think what we gained is we learned a lot more about the city in which we're working. We gave us an opportunity to meet a lot of people and to launch some new artists, and that was very exciting for us.
Most artists work by themselves, and they're fairly isolated, and their work is intense. And I was watching the artists talk to their fans because that meant a lot to the artists to meet those people that appreciated them so much.
Modeling for our own students this idea that you can take your talents, gather a group of people together and do something remarkable, and that really can happen when everyone is working together, when they're using their strengths. And their pride in the project and being associated with it was definitely meaningful and a golden moment for us.
Continue that love for all of our winners. Welcome them to the stage. Peggy Gomez of Gomez Art Supply, Tugboat Gallery, and so much more is receiving the 2018 Heart of the Arts Award. Eileen Brewster, the first and only box office manager for the Leeds Center for the Arts until her retirement in 2017, is this year's Art Scene Backstage Award winner. Tonight, we honor Don Campbell's arts philanthropy, specifically for the new bronze statue of Chief Standing Bear on Centennial Mall, with the Benefactor of the Arts Award. The outstanding event of 2017 is Nebraska by Heart, the proceeds of which benefited Lead Up Lincoln and Sadie Dog Fund. Welcome Project Coordinator Liz Shea McCoy and Lead Up Executive Director Julie Allen. Friends, another lovely Lincoln Arts round of applause for all of our winners.
It's a way for me to kind of recognize that this is home, it has become home, and it's almost like, I was paying homage to what my surroundings were instead of being like taking it for granted. I left my country 20 plus years ago, and that country, as you might know, is going through a lot of changes. It's a political, economical, and social distress, and so on. So that title even implies the sense that my memory is fleeting, right? My memory of my country is no longer the reality that I see. I don't want to use the same tools that my government does, like really loud and really, powerful. I want to make it more poetic in the sense that I want to grab the viewer, and then when the viewer is already hooked, then the content opens up themselves. So, and then also the idea that I'm spending so much time in the making. I'm using magnifying glasses and really spend hours and hours in that kind of precision making. When the viewer comes into the show, they do the same thing. I like both for different reasons. It's trying to choose your, who's your favorite child kind of thing. So, when I work in my studio, I love the solitude, and I usually wear noise canceling, headphones, and I'm really focused on the work, and it's just me and the paper and nobody else. But then when I give the teaching, all my passions, all my, my technical, discoveries and so on, I give back to the student. To me, that's a really important kind of seal of approval, if you will. And I think if we think about Golden, that could be, at least in my mind, a moment of like, wait a minute, even the mayor of the city recognizing my contribution to the arts. I would say that's a pretty good golden moment for me.
I was trying to decide whether to go to graduate school in marine biology or go back into my love of writing. And I went to the Bermuda Biological Station for a summer and found myself one night at 11 o'clock at night counting a pan full of worms. I thought, this is not what I want to do. And so when I returned after the summer in Bermuda, I enrolled in an MFA program at University of South Carolina. I look a lot at the borderlines between masculinity and femininity, between religious and not religious, between country and city. I mean, I think a lot because I've moved a fair amount that I'm always trying to find that place that's between the home I grew up in and the home I live in now. Ted Kooser, I work with Ted Kooser a lot now, and he always emphasizes he calls it the authenticating detail. And so I'm always looking for that authenticating detail that makes the image feel so real that you feel like you're in the moment. You know, as a father and as a graduate student, there's so little time for me to write, and so this gives me the space to do that, and also to know that there's foundations out there like Kimmel Harding that are willing to support young artists that find art important. He went around the table asking people what their favorite poets were, and you know, people said Emily Dickinson and Robert Frost, and he got to me and I said T.S. Eliot, and he paused and he looked at me and he said, "You're a closet poet," and he said, "Get up from there and come down here," and he made me sit at the seat right next to him, and I just suddenly felt like the choice I had made was right.
That involves like organizing their artist in residency program, and then they have this art adventure camp for kids. So we're kind of trying to take art and science and the outdoors and like mix it all together, and this has just been really like good for kids and exciting for all of us. I would say it's like very imaginative and spontaneous. Abstract for sure, but rooted in nature. I just love the outdoors, so it's where a lot of my inspiration comes from. I haven't done portraits for a while, but I still always find myself going back to the figure. But right now, it's just having a lot of fun playing with biology and, you know, the basis of nature and all of that. It's exciting. Which was amazing, just like seeing how an artist works, and he let me touch the art and like help build it, which was really exciting and powerful for me. That was a whole year working in like the wood shop, getting familiar with tools that I was kind of scared of. Just sculpture is really exciting to me too, and I definitely think I'll go back to it and start exploring that more. It means that I'm supported here in Nebraska. I think it's cool to know that I don't have to move away from Nebraska to just keep making art and feel supported, that people care about what I'm making. That was just really exciting to me. And there was just this moment when I'm in the middle of the woods, just like harvesting wood for his sculpture, and I looked around and I was like, I'm alone in the woods, like making art, and this is really special.
It was getting a little frustrating because there would be the starts and the stops and the hopes and the dashes and all of that, and I finally said, you know, I wonder if we could get this thing done in time for Nebraska's sesquicentennial. And then it hit me that we had that kind of that golden opportunity to really make that work. And through the efforts of great commissioners through the years, and through the mayor's office, and through the state of Nebraska, and so many on the campaign team. And they did such a marvelous job in all of the fundraising to make it all happen. Well, it became a reality.
I think the keys were the broad diversity of people that we brought in and got involved. Certainly the fact that the city and the mayor gave the first seed money, came up with about $3 million, I believe. That was huge to be able to go to people and say, look, we have $3 million. It was the first money set aside for Centennial Mall. That was huge for us as we went around the state.
We wanted to make sure it had statewide appeal, and that it was something that had significance for all Nebraska. And at the same time, we wanted to draw in elements and extend elements of the Capitol itself, so that there would be this iconic feeling and flavor that went from the Capitol and extended those 7 blocks.
As a state senator, it has become to mean a lot, it has grown to mean a lot more. The fact that 35,000 fourth graders come every year to the Capitol and then walk down Centennial Mall and get many of them, their first introduction to the university. All Nebraskans can come and find something of interest to them. They can find their county seat, they can find stories about natives, they can find stories about people who have made Nebraska grow and thrive.
It made us realize, I think, what a fantastic place, a significant venue Nebraska Centennial Mall is and can be in the future. This living, breathing element in our great state.
I sort of believe it was almost divine intervention, because it happened right before Roger Larson died, and so he was able to know that the entire mall was to be completed. I'm so glad that he got to see that we had accomplished our goal. It is just a joy that we have this beautiful area to tell the history of Nebraska.
Now, please give a huge round of applause for our winners and welcome them up. The Mayor's Choice Award winner for 2018 is visual artist Francisco Soto. Next, we recognize 2 artists selected to receive the Kimmel Foundation Emerging Artist Awards. Now, I've got to explain what these artists are receiving. Along with this prestigious award, the Kimmel Foundation is sponsoring a 2-week artist residency in Nebraska City at the Kimmel Harding Nelson Center for the Arts, plus a $1,000 stipend for each of these winners. We're proud to partner with the Kimmel Foundation as they invest in local artist development. First to receive the Kimmel Foundation Emerging Literary Artist Award, Ivan Young. Selected for the Kimmel Foundation Emerging Visual Artist Award, Hannah Demma. Michelle Pinn will be presenting the Innerson Urban Design Award. Michelle's the owner of Authenticity Architects and the chair of the Urban Design Committee. Tom Houston chairs the jury which selects the Innerson Urban Design Award winner each year. The committee includes Margaret Berry, Tom Logging, Bob Ripley, Gordon Scholes, Ed Zimmer, and Stacy Hagman.
Thanks, Dwayne. Since 1984, the Urban Design Committee has honored Lincoln projects that significantly contribute to the quality of our city's urban fabric, and the Anderson Urban Design Award, named for Larry Anderson, the committee's founding chairman and pioneering landscape architect in our community. The award has been given to a wide range of project types over the years, such as trails and parks, public arts, streetscapes, and bridges. They also include buildings and large, multifaceted private and public projects, such as the Pinnacle Bank Arena, and also related West Haymarket redevelopment projects, and also very small projects like the alley that leads to Barrymore's. Some of you might know better than others. I am pleased to announce this year's Emerson Urban Design Award, and it is presented to the Centennial Mall Improvement Project. So please welcome the following people that are representing the different. There's a lot of people that have been involved in this. Jeff Searcy from the Nebraska Capital Environs Commission. Susan Rodenberg and Senator Patty Pansy Brooks for the Lincoln Parks Foundation. Lynn Johnson for the Lincoln Parks and Rec Department. Karen Nalo, principal with the Clark Anderson Partners. Did I miss anybody? I think that's all mine. Oh, Roger Orderman. Sorry. Okay, sorry about that. All right. Thank you very much. And I know there's a lot of other people that were very much involved in this project. So let's give a round of applause for them, please.
Good evening. How much does it cost to paint a tile? This is a question I was asked by a fourth grader at a local elementary school earlier this year. We were collaborating with the school on the evening of a science fair and spaghetti feed, providing tiles to be glazed, fired, and displayed at Bryan Hospital, then returned to the student artists by the end of the year. How much does it cost to paint a tile? His family stood behind him, anxious for an answer. A mom, 2 sisters, and a baby in a stroller. How much does it cost to paint a tile? The child dare not infuse too much hope into his question. I had never met this particular student, but I was familiar with his tone, and while he was simply asking me what was required to participate, what I heard under his words was this: I'm used to being excluded. When I was able to reply that there was no cost to paint a tile and that his entire family could paint too, there was a look of surprise on his face, followed by an almost simultaneous and audible cheer from his family. I escorted them to a table filled with beautiful glazes and tiles, and they began to paint. My name is Becky Boson, and I'm the Chief Creative Officer of Blixt, the organization that for 2 years has worked in tandem with Lincoln Arts Council to build upon the original Art Makes Me Smart program for students in our community. This is my colleague and Blixt CEO, Petra Wahlquist, and we are so proud to share this stage with Executive Director Deb Weber on this very special evening and share a little bit about the work that we're doing in Lincoln Public Schools and beyond. With Deb's and the Lincoln Arts Council's Board of Directors' support, in partnership with Lincoln Public Schools, we continue to grow our education and engagement program into a progressive model for any community to follow, focusing not on debates between STEM or STEAM, but rather on the development of project-based arts learning that addresses social and emotional learning needs of our students. This year, we worked with 2,500 students. We are invested in every child in Lincoln. I'm so honored. Thank you. I'm so honored to have this moment to share with you why high-quality, process-driven arts education is vital to schools, particularly those where there are so many students and families navigating poverty and other challenges. We know that arts education allows students to express themselves, cultivates creativity, and develops aesthetic skill, but did you know that a student who experiences a high level of prohibitions before they reach elementary school is already thousands of words behind a student who may be their middle or higher social class peer? Did you know that when a child is raised with situation-based prohibitions, they intuitively learn not to ask, not to put themselves forward, not to believe that they have the same intrinsic value of those around them? Arts education is affirmation. Arts education is inclusion. Arts education is where we can make up that gap for the students who need it most. When you support the Lincoln Arts Council's education and engagement programming, you're not simply providing an artistic experience for students. You're providing an invitation to come along, to belong. And when that invitation is offered through the conduit of a meaningful arts experience, it's one that's extended for life, because in that moment, the child's life is transformed by the surprising ring of affirmation. The little boy who expected to be told no when he asked to paint a tile was told yes. The little boy who asked, "How much does it cost to paint a tile?" was given an answer we strive to give every child in Lincoln through our education and engagement program. The cost is nothing. You are welcome and wanted here. You belong. Claim your place at this table and create something only you can create. Something beautiful, because You made it. Let's make sure every child in Lincoln makes it. Thank you for your continued support.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Troy Gagner. I'm the Development Director here at the Lincoln Arts Council. And I'd like to tell you that they saved the best for last, but my wife and other people that know me are here and they know that's not the case. Actually, what I am is I am the only thing standing between you and the winner's reception, so I will try to be brief. I've cut about 30 minutes out of my comments, so. Before we let you head upstairs to the reception, I just wanted to remind you that May 31st is Give to Lincoln Day. For 24 hours on Give to Lincoln Day, every donation given to local nonprofits, like the Lincoln Arts Council, is made bigger by matching funds. It is one special day when everyone in Lincoln is asked to make a donation, showing their support for the organizations that contribute so much to our great city. And every donation makes a bigger impact because of the $400,000 of matching funds made possible by the Lincoln Community Foundation and its sponsors. But here's the best part, you don't have to wait till May 31st. Starting today, May 1st, isn't that a coincidence? And throughout the month of May, you can go online and make your donation to the Lincoln Arts Council or other arts organizations here in Lincoln, and anything that you give counts towards that match. All you need to do is pull your phone out and go to givetolincoln.com. So now's the part where you all pull your phones out and go to Lincoln. All right, we'll give you a little bit more time than that. But sometime during the month of May, we urge you to go to givetolincoln.com and make that donation and show your support for arts in the city of Lincoln. And so with that, I think Dwayne has a little bit left, and then we will let you get to the reception. Thank you all very much.
Welcome to the Mayor's Arts Awards. Awards. I forgot this is a room of music people. I like it. My name's D. Wayne. If you come up,
I like this microphone a little bit better. So at the winner's reception, you will have some performances from JF International Music Academy, and I will also be beatboxing as well. So the party is not over, friend. Come on upstairs. It's time to mingle, time to hang out. I'm sure your butt's a little tired yet. Just a little bit, so we're gonna have to stretch out those legs. See you upstairs for the winter reception. My name is D. Wayne. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming out to celebrate 40 years of the Lincoln Arts Council, 40 years of the Mayor's Arts Awards, and 50 years of the Lincoln Arts Council. A huge round of applause to all of our winners one last time, please. And that applause concludes the program. I will see you all upstairs for our winner's reception.